Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today we got some more 2A news for you, and this one's an op-ed / informational piece here from Lee Williams over at Ammo Land I wanted to share with you. It's entitled Special Report: Biden Weaponizing the IRS into a Well-Armed Paramilitary Force. Wow. There's some really telling stuff in this that I think you're going to be very interested to find out about. We'll get into this one. Before we do, I would like to thank our friends at Sonoran Desert Institute for supporting our videos. If you're looking for a career in gunsmithing, you're wanting to jumpstart your career in the gun world, they are a great resource, great distance learning source. Their classes are amazing. You can learn about flying drones, reloading, gunsmithing, all kinds of cool stuff. They've got great curriculums, wonderful instructors. Make sure you check them out. Use the link down below so that they know that I sent you over there to them. They are a great group of people, and they've been a long-term supporter of our channel. So big thanks to SDI for supporting the Second Amendment community, and go check them out and tell them we said thanks. All right, let's get into this. I like Lee's op-eds and articles. He does a great job, and we always want to support our friends at Ammo Land who do such a great job. And I will say this as well before we get started with Ammo Land, is that anytime I want to register an opinion, they always publish anything I want. And look, same thing goes for lots of these guys. I know TFB's put a few things out for us. So look, all these guys are doing a great job, whether it's Ammo Land or Firearms Blog, Truth About Guns. All these blogs are great resources for all the information you might want to find if you prefer to read. But I like to read these to you so you can maybe listen while you're on your drive to work or something. That's sort of the vibe that I'm going for here. You just put it on in the background. Okay. USA, Iowa Senator Joni Ernst introduced a bill last week titled Why Does the IRS Have Guns Act, which would prohibit the IRS from buying or storing guns and ammunition, transfer all IRS firearms to the General Services Administration so they could be auctioned off to licensed gun dealers to reduce the national debt, and move the agency's Criminal Investigation Division to the control of the Justice Department. Wow, quite a bill already. The tax man is fully loaded at the expense of the taxpayer, Ernst said in a statement. As the Biden administration has worked to expand the size of the IRS, any further weaponization of this federal agency against hardworking Americans and small businesses is a grave concern. I'm working to disarm the IRS and return these dollars to address reckless spending in Washington. While the outcome of Ernst's legislation is not promising, Joe Biden will likely veto her bill should it ever reach his desk. The senator's efforts have drawn much needed attention to the massive arsenal that the IRS is amassing. The IRS is preparing for battle. Some of the weapons and tactical equipment currently in their inventory are used by elite military commandos, not American law enforcement officers. To be clear, none of this extreme militarization occurred until after Biden took office. Who are they preparing to battle? Asked Adam, oh Lord, I'm not going to try to butcher his last name. He's got one of those kind of weird last names. The CEO and founder of OpenTheBooks.com, the largest private repository of U.S. public sector spending. His watchdog efforts have led to federal legislation, grand jury indictments, congressional hearings, subpoenas and convictions, as well as audits by the government, the Accountability Office, and Congressional Research Service reports. And Adam, I apologize. I'm not going to try to kill your last name, my friend. It looks like it's for domestic tax and law enforcement objectives, but the IRS has blurred the lines between civil and administrative agencies, civil and administrative duties, and federal law enforcement capacity. After grabbing legal power, the IRS is amassing firepower. It's time to scale back the federal arsenal, Adams said. He told the Second Amendment Foundation's investigative journalism project on Wednesday. In one recent report, he found that the IRS had spent $35.2 million taxpayer dollars on guns, ammunition, and tactical gear since 2006, but the agency's purchasing increased dramatically under Biden. The years 2020 and 2021 were peak years at the IRS for purchasing weaponry and gear. Since the pandemic started, the IRS has purchased $10 million in weaponry and gear, the report states. The purchases included $2.5 million on ballistic shields and various other gear for criminal investigation agents, $1.3 million for tactical lights, tactical gear bags, ballistic helmets, and body armor. nearly $1 million on Smith & Wesson M&P 15s and Beretta tactical shotguns, 3,000 tactical holsters for handguns with optical sights and weapons lights. As of this week, the IRS only had 2,100 armed agents. Trigger pullers wanted. The IRS is recruiting people who won't hesitate to put another American behind their front sight post. In a recent job posting, the agency says special agent candidates must be willing to use force up to and including the use of deadly force. Those who qualify will receive the best guns and gear taxpayer dollars can buy. Here's a partial list of some of the agency's recent purchases. Night vision rifle scopes. American law enforcement, even the IRS, does not operate with rules of engagement like the military when it encounters armed resistance. The last time law enforcement used ROE rather than the law, things went very wrong. Whatever the tactical situation, police are subject to criminal laws and deadly force policies which are predicated upon the sanctity of human life. Force, up to and including deadly force, must be reasonable. An American law enforcement officer must use the minimum amount of force necessary and can use deadly force in defense of their life or the life of another. Verbal warnings and other de-escalation attempts are always considered after deadly force is used to determine whether the force was justified. That said, it's difficult to understand why the IRS is equipping its agents with night vision rifle scopes, which are capable of hitting man-sized targets at distance in total darkness. How does shooting a suspect who is hundreds of yards away and unaware of an agent's presence at night without warning comply with use of force statutes and policies? How is this not murder? What tactical problem are the night vision rifle scopes intended to resolve? Ballistic shields. Oh my, I clicked away. Hang on. Ballistic shields. When the threat level is extreme, such as a report of an active shooter, SWAT teams will deploy a ballistic shield, which is designed to complement their personal body armor and further reduce the threat. Ballistic shields come in all shapes and sizes and are rated by bullet resistance. A level 2 shield will stop 9mm and other handgun rounds. A level 4 shield will stop 30 caliber armor-piercing ammunition. The greater the bullet resistance, the heavier the shield. Operators must train constantly to carry the shield and shoot a pistol one-handed. It's awkward and requires a lot of practice. The Los Angeles Police Department has guidelines concerning the use of ballistic shields. Officers must first pass a ballistic shield operator course before they can carry one into harm's way. The court specifies the type of tactical situations where a ballistic shield must be deployed or should be deployed. They include, but are not limited to, the following: breaching doors and windows, high-risk vehicle stops, high-risk handcuffing, door entries, room clearing, hallway movement, rescuing wounded officers under fire. These type of tactical situations are the purview of SWAT teams and military special forces, not the IRS. What is in the IRS's gun safe? The IRS issues Smith & Wesson M&P 15 rifles to most of its special agents. It's a good, serviceable patrol carbine, more than adequate for most needs. However, the agency issues H&K 416s to select agents. The difference between an M&P 15 and an H&K 416 is staggering. Smith & Wesson designed their carbine for civilian end users. Heckler & Koch designed the 416 for special operations forces. It is currently the weapon of choice for the most elite units in the world, including Tier 1 JSOC teams. IRS even issues Heckler & Koch magazines with the rifles, which are much more reliable, but cost as much as 10 times more than traditional AR magazines. Why do our IRS agents need the same rifle carried by Navy SEALs or members of the Army's most elite Special Missions Unit? While the IRS issues 40 caliber Glock handguns to its agents, documents show the agency has purchased a limited number of 5.7 by 28 millimeter handguns and ammunition, although the type of ammunition has not been specified. We know it's probably black tip ammo. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives classifies the 5.7 by 28 millimeter SS-190 duty round, which has a steel penetrator, as armor-piercing handgun ammunition. The manufacturer restricts the ammunition to military and law enforcement customers. The 5.7 by 28 millimeter weapon system gives IRS agents the capability of defeating most civilian body armor with only a handgun. The IRS responds. The Second Amendment Foundation's investigative journalism project asked the IRS to explain why they need ballistic shields, HK-416s, night vision rifle scopes, and other highly specialized equipment. Here's their response. All right, this is straight from the IRS themselves. IRS CI special agents are sworn federal law enforcement officers who conduct criminal investigations into tax violations, money laundering, cyber crimes, as well as organized crime involving drugs and gangs. The agency's approximately 2,100 IRS CI special agents regularly execute and serve search, arrest, and seizure warrants, conduct covert operations, and interact with the public in law enforcement settings. They must participate in annual firearms training, briefings, and practical exercises to determine that they are proficient to carry firearms. Firearms and related tactical gear are and have been necessary equipment for CI special agents for more than 100 years, says Carissa Cottrell, a member of the IRS Criminal Investigation Division. Okay, well, at least they responded. I mean, now it's a canned response relatively, but at least it's a response. The takeaways. It's clear the IRS geared up so they could start raiding. Last week, a joint IRS ATF team raided Highwood Creek Outfitters in Great Falls, Montana. ATF agents were prohibited from seizing the gun shop's 4473s, but the IRS agents weren't. They seized hundreds of the forms. Montana Attorney General Austin Kudson, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that last name, expressed concerns over the seizure, asking, what the hell does the IRS need with 4473s? By now, I'm sure he realizes they were all handed over to the ATF. History has shown us that whatever a federal agency buys, it will eventually use. The only question is, who will the IRS point their H&K 416s and night vision rifle scopes at now that the raids have begun? Most Americans are sick of watching Biden weaponize federal agencies to further his partisan political objectives. The ATF was weaponized first, and they're going door to door right now conducting unconstitutional knock-and-talks under the guise of firearms inspections. If Joe Biden is allowed to fully weaponize the IRS like he did the ATF, he will be able to exert his executive authority wherever he wants without congressional oversight. Anyone who objects or complains could be shot without warning, at distance, at night, without ever seeing who fired the fatal round. As Senator Ertz noticed, this is a grave concern. This story is presented by the Second Amendment Foundation's investigative journalism project and wouldn't be possible without you. Click here to make a tax-deductible donation to support more pro-gun stories like this. I'll put that link down below. And obviously make sure that you're supporting Ammo Land as well. They're a great news site. Great reporting there by Lee Williams. Great guy, great writing, great reporting. Wanted to share this. And look, it is scary. You know, now, can everything be taken for black and white face value with this sort of stuff? I mean, I want to be optimistic and say probably not. I mean, does that mean just because they have it, they're going to use it? Well, I mean, think about why you have these things. I mean, look, put the shoe on the other foot. And look, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I have thermals. I have night vision. I have suppressors. I have guns. I have rifles that I can kill hogs with at 900 yards at night with a clip-on thermal. Okay, a thermal rangefinder. Okay, like we have capabilities to pretty much deal with any threat we need to deal with, short of some super advanced modern military equipment that we don't have access to. Barring that, civilians are a lot more capable of protecting themselves than you might think. Don't think for 1 second, just because you read about a few IRS agents or a few ATF agents having some thermals or night vision. Okay, and we have it too. So, okay, if you knew that all that stuff was out there, I mean, wouldn't you want to be ready and capable? I mean, if I can have it, and I'm ready and capable, should I really have a problem with them having it? I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I think all of that gear is probably a little bit unnecessary for just a knock and talk or just for carrying out your duties as an IRS agent or an ATF agent. But at the same time, I have it, so why would I be upset about someone else having it? That's the devil's advocate response. Now, of course, the constitutionalist in me thinks that these agencies are completely unneeded anyway. Right. But we won't go down that rabbit hole right just yet. But what they might view as duties or what they might view as a job or whatever they think they're doing, I view as irrelevant and completely unconstitutional anyway. So at the end of the day, we're all just guys with guns, I suppose. And I guess at the end of the day, we'll see who wants it more, I guess. Just that's really what it comes down to at this point. I mean, is this just a saber rattling type of thing for them to just say, hey, we're doing this? Is it just a just in case type scenario to be prepared? I mean, better to be prepared than not prepared. That could very well be the case. Are they going to carry out some well-articulated and well-organized series of raids against a whole bunch of people where they might be expecting some stiff resistance that would require them to have H&K 416s with night vision scopes? Who knows? Suppose it could go a number of different ways depending on how we look at this. But I know one thing, that no matter who you are, if you're a Fed or if you're a civilian or whoever you might be, I know it's foolish to be unarmed. This world's a scary place. There's a lot of crazy things going on, and you don't know what side of the situation you might find yourself on. So, if you don't have a good rifle and some night vision and maybe a thermal spotter and, some good body armor and the best ammo you can afford and training and magazines and support gear to carry your stuff around and water packs and medical supplies and spare food and all that good, happy stuff, well, then can you really have room to complain about what they're doing if you don't even have the capability to protect yourself in the same way when you have the right to? So, yeah, one could look at this situation. I'm not saying play it off. One could look at this situation and go, wow, yeah, that's scary. Sure, that seems kind of odd, right? Sure, one could take that away. But my takeaway is almost kind of in the opposite direction, to where it's almost like they see the writing on the wall and they know that our butts are prepared. You better believe we're prepared. And they know it. They see, these people follow social media just like anyone else. And trust me, they see people training. They see people, buying advanced kit. They see people taking their guns seriously, right? And believe me, they want to be on equal footing with anyone that they feel they may come in contact with in the future. And I'm not saying that I agree with the militarization of an agency like the IRS, or especially even the ATF, or anyone for that matter. I'm not suggesting that I agree with what they're doing by arming up, but I'm just saying simply that I can understand why they're doing it too, because we're doing it. I mean, look, let's be fair. Let's play devil's advocate here. It's not like the American civilian populace that's paying halfway decent attention is not already armed for bear and ready for just about anything. And there's thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of us out there. And we have these people outnumbered hundreds, if not thousands to one. So I'm not overly worried about it, and you shouldn't be either, but you should always be ready. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Many more videos on the way. Keep your head on a swivel. Everything's going to be okay. I promise. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.